The wealth of knowledge surrounding the Elder Scrolls series is truly vast.
Now there's an army that's tasted victory.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 things you didn't know about the Elder Scrolls series.
I have expected you, Proda.
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be taking a look at the facts surrounding the Elder Scrolls universe, both in-game and on the development of their series. Just like the games, there's a lot to discover here. Whether it's funny, engaging, heartwarming, or surprising, if the fact's interesting or insightful, it's eligible for this list. Number 10, Horse Armor, The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. More and more, we hear people complaining about cash grab DLCs, or a DLC that should have been included in the base game. The issue wasn't as prevalent about 10 years ago, though, around the time Oblivion was released. But boy, was there one piece of downloadable content for the game that had people up in arms.
What can I interest you in?
You could pay real-world dollars for what was essentially an outfit for your horse. Yeah, that's it. The reception was not positive, to say the least. But the crazy thing is that the DLC is still being bought on occasion to this very day, over 10 years after it became the ultimate symbol of ridiculous DLC.
You've got to be kidding.
Number 9, music used by North Korea, The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. There's high tension between North Korea and basically the rest of the world, and people are wary of inciting nuclear war when they criticize or make jokes about North Korea. When the country itself comes up with propaganda using the soundtrack to Oblivion in their video, however, they're basically just asking for it. Seriously, it's hard to take this video seriously when they've used a song from a fantasy role-playing game. Either the editor was a fan or was ignorant to the origin of the music, but in any case, their message probably didn't come off as effective as they'd hoped. Number 8, Arena, The Elder Scrolls: Arena. What if the Elder Scrolls never came to be? We can't imagine the world without it, but it almost happened though, with Bethesda initially planning on releasing the game titled Arena. Arena was a very different idea from what came to fruition. The primary objective of the game was to travel across the continent, competing in gladiator-type battles to become the champion fighter. Eventually, the idea was expanded upon and an open world was created, full of quests and characters. The basic premise of Arena was scrapped, and the result was The Elder Scrolls: Arena. With all the assets, posters, and concepts created for the initial idea though, the subtitle of Arena had to remain, with the developers justifying this by saying that basically all of Tamriel is an arena because it's so violent and crazy. Get it? Number 7, Killable NPCs, The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind. When you have the power to kill absolutely everyone, chaos ensues, as well as game-breaking experiences. In Oblivion and Skyrim, the game prohibited you from permanently killing essential NPCs, such as ones vital to the completion of a quest. This was not the case in Morrowind, however, and if you killed an NPC that you needed to progress through the storyline, then you'd better hope you had a recent save because you were screwed. Even worse, the game warns you that you probably shouldn't have done that and you should reload a save to not kill that NPC, but if you clicked through that, you'd probably never know you broke your game. Number 6, it's me, Paarthurnax, The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim.
The Dove have words for such themes that jaw do not.
Here, we have two very different characters. One is a wise old dragon with a dark and menacing voice, and the other is a fat Italian plumber with a high-pitched voice. If you hadn't known otherwise, you'd have never guessed that the voice behind Nintendo mascot Mario and Paarthurnax, the dragon from Skyrim, was actually the same person. Charles Martinet has incredible vocal range to pull off such widely different tones.
No easy task for a jaw mortal.
The fact that he's contributed to games that have such iconic status, as well as being an immensely charismatic and easygoing fella, adds a ton of bonus points in our books.
You will find that your spirit will give you more strength.
Number 5, Maiik The Liar, The Elder Scrolls series.
Who would want to see Maiik naked? Sick, sick people.
Maiik The Liar is an interesting character. He first entered the series in Morrowind and acted as a sort of communicator between the developers and the players, talking about things that can be referenced as a thought process either had by a player or Bethesda themselves.
He has no opinion on the matter.
The character, who's come to be known as a recurring Easter egg, is featured in Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and even The Elder Scrolls Online, and provides commentary on a lot of things found in the Elder Scrolls universe. He's not the only Easter egg employed by Bethesda though, obviously. The team has also put the sweet roll food item in as many of their games as possible, including the Fallout series.
Give me that sweet roll you got from old lady Palmer.
Number 4, Redguard is a thing that exists. The Elder Scrolls Adventures, Redguard. Quit it! That hurt! You'd be forgiven if you had no idea that spin-off games in the Elder Scrolls series exist, as they're fairly unremarkable. One such game was Elder Scrolls Adventures, Redguard.
Just a bad feeling that's grown worse with the wait.
It took everything fans loved about the Elder Scrolls series, such as character customization and an open world, and basically got rid of them, and then forced players to play in third person. It took inspiration from such games as Tomb Raider and Prince of Persia, only it didn't quite match the same level of enjoyment that either of those games had.
Can't you at least stay for the celebrations? They are because of you, after all.
Number 3, Akavir, the Elder Scrolls series. It's easy to forget that Tamriel is just one continent on the planet Nirn, and that there's lore surrounding the many others that you've yet to visit. One of the continents is Akavir, which has warring factions, unique races, dragons, a power struggle, and even themes of enslavement.
Where are my dragons?
According to in-game lore, a failed invasion by a race from Akavir led to the creation of the Cyrodiilic Empire. This just only scratches the surface of the history of Akavir. But Bethesda has created an immense amount of lore, not only for that continent, but other continents too. Number 2, Prostitutes Guild, The Elder Scrolls II, Daggerfall. The Elder Scrolls has been hailed for allowing players to roleplay any kind of character they want, whether it's a simple farmer, a fierce gladiator, a mystical magician, or a combination of all those three and anything in between. Even, well, the world's oldest profession. Well, not really, but it was almost a possibility. In Daggerfall, the initial intention was that players could have sex with NPCs and even level up a prostitution skill tree. While the Elder Scrolls sometimes deals with mature themes, it never quite went that far. And you can't argue that it wouldn't have changed the overall feel of the game.
The nature of my trouble is darker still.
Number 1, the size of Daggerfall, The Elder Scrolls II, Daggerfall. Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim all have huge maps. Even if you think otherwise, the sheer amount of content and places to explore within the map make them seem larger than they really are. It takes about 2 hours to cross from one end of the map to the other in Skyrim. You think that's long? Daggerfall is a heck of a lot bigger. In fact, it's so big that if you were to cross from one end to the other, it takes roughly 70 hours. Oh boy. Even if you're a true role-playing enthusiast, we don't think you'd be able to get through the game without the use of a little fast travel. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Perhaps in the very doing, they erased the knowing of it from time itself.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.